We do a lot of projects at Ralston Valley High School that require you to find some literary criticism to provide commentary or research support for arguments that you make in your essays. Some of that criticism is available online. However, most of the criticism that would be considered written by experts and appropriate for you to use as a referenced resource in your paper is often only available from sources that are a little bit more difficult to find or that you need to pay for. And so let me show you how I use the tools we have on our website to find free literary criticism. First thing you should do is go to the library website. From here, click on the class links icon. There will be several different active projects typically, so this list might change, but something that is always in this box is a literary criticism link. From here, you just need to find the right section. My favorite place to find criticism is in novels for students. Now this is a set that we have in the library physically, and I will usually open this index. I'm in Chrome, so the download comes to the bottom left area of my screen. I'm going to open this index, and I'm going to look to see if my book is included in here. Now I have the books organized by title, but if you're looking for, say, a book by an American author, you can filter by nationality. So you could select American authors, and you can also sort by dates. So you could reverse the date from larger dates to small dates to look at the most recent books that have commentaries or criticism written about them in novels for students. If I want to remove the filter, I will just go back to select all, or clear filter would be a better way of doing that. And I'm going to just go ahead and sort again by title. So if I want to find the criticism for The Sun Also Rises, I'm going to do Control F for find. Or I could just scroll down to the S's. There it is. Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway. I'm going to move this down a little so you can see what I see. It is in volume 5 of Novels for Students. So I will walk over to volume 5, and I will pull that and actually photocopy that if I need to. Now we do make free photocopies of novels for students, so you can do that. Most of the novels for students content is also in one of our databases that I'm going to go to next. So if you're at home doing this, you can find it. It's just not quite as easy to locate, and it's chopped into different chunks. Whereas if you come to get the book, you get the chapter on The Sun Also Rises that has all of the criticism pulled together for you. It's just quite handy that way, but you can use whatever format you like. So let's go ahead and transition to the database. I'm going to go back to the library website and back to that literary criticism section. I'm going to go to the Literature Resource Center database. This is hosted by Jefferson County Public Library. So you will need a library card login to access it. You can get a library card login for free, or I have occasionally a temporary one that you can borrow. If you want to stop by the library to see what it is that day, you're welcome to do so. Alright, when I am in the Literature Resource Center, instead of doing a basic search, I like to go into the work search. So I make sure and get items related to the book I'm looking for. So I'll just type in the title, click search. Now at this point I could just narrow it down to different types of work. I could do critical work, which is criticism, but I want to just see a little bit of everything. Sometimes things are classified differently, so I'm just going to do a work search for Sun Also Rises. And then I just need to select the right one here. So there's a poem. This is the book I want by Ernest Hemingway. There should be quite a bit written about this. There are 81 different criticisms, which is fantastic. There are 19 biographies probably about Hemingway and some topic and work overviews. Occasionally I'll look in this tab if I don't have a whole lot in the criticism tab. But you can see I have lots and lots and lots of criticisms. In general, the older a book is, the more time there's been for people to write criticism about it. So the older your novel, the more criticisms you'll have. I'm going to use some techniques here to kind of scroll through these so that I'm not spending time clicking on 81 of these. First, I'm going to look at the titles. Writers of the Lost Generation is probably going to talk more about Hemingway than my book, and I'm really looking for criticism on The Sun Also Rises. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm just going to look at these little summaries. Reading Hemingway's The Sun Also Rises glossary and commentary. This is the book review. I'm going to skip it. I'm not even seeing a whole lot of great matches on this first page. A lot of them just have to do with Hemingway. They probably mention some of his techniques he used and some of the symbolism in many of his books, including The Sun Also Rises, but I'm going to go to the next page. I have a lot to pick from, so I'm going to be really choosy before I start just digging around. So here's one. This one says critical essays on Ernest Hemingway's The Sun Also Rises. This would probably be a very good match for me to start with. I'm going to scroll down and look for some others too. Elements of masochism in Hemingway's work. So if masochism is a theme I want to explore in Sun Also Rises, I'll go into this one. Otherwise, I'm just going to skip along. I like this one, Hemingway Among the Bohemians, a generational reading of The Sun Also Rises. So if I want to go ahead and use this one, I'm just going to click on it. Alright, I love databases because they have some great tools built in. I can click here to listen to the article. I can scroll down and read this. Now if I decide that this is a good criticism that's going to help support the points I'm going to make in my paper, then I'll go ahead and often email it to myself. That link to do so is at the very top. And there's a great link also here for citation tools. You can pick which format you want. There is a link at the bottom that has the source citation in MLA format, which is what you need. So you can just right click and copy and paste this into Word or a Google Doc, or you can go up to the citation tool feature and access it that way as well. What this database is doing is curating criticisms from many different sources and just providing them for you right here, so you don't have to go visit Critical Essays or the South Dakota Review or 20th Century Literary Criticisms, which is a great set. I did mention at the beginning of the video that this database generally has the Novels for Students entries too, and here's an exception where that article has not yet been uploaded to the database. So I've scrolled through all of the pages looking at the different works, and I don't see the Novels for Students articles in this database. So do give yourself a little extra time to make a visit in person to the library if you need Novels for Students until they get all of those articles uploaded into here. Now, if you still don't have any luck, I do occasionally go to the web to look for literary criticism. The advantage to Novels for Students and this Lit Resource Center is that my criticism is from experts. So someone else has gone to all the trouble to make sure that the resources provided here are written by people who are supposed to know what they're talking about. If I go to the web, I have to then become the authority on someone's credentials and decide if they are a good source to use for this project. So I'll often go to Google Scholar, and I typed in Sun Also Rises Hemingway into Google Scholar to see what I've received back. I received a lot of citations, which this looks like a great resource, The Death of Love and the Sun Also Rises, and it's from a collection of critical essays, but all I'm getting here is just basically a helpful bit of information. Now I have to go find that book, which is not very convenient for me. So I did scroll through Google Scholar. I didn't find anything until I got to page 2 and found a critical essay on the dramatizations of manhood in the book. I went ahead and clicked on this, and it is pulling page 1 of a useful criticism from a database called JSTOR. We don't subscribe to this database, and neither does the public library, so if you wanted this article, you can get the first page, and you have to purchase from there. So I don't have a terrific amount of luck always with Google Scholar, but it's worth a try. Now this article from JSTOR is a great example that reminds me of the last place you can check, and maybe for some of you it should be the first. This is clearly from a book written about a book written about The Sun Also Rises, and because we have so many projects involving literary criticism, the Ralston Valley Library has purchased many of these such books. So if you go back to your tab that has the library site open, these are my literary criticism links, but on all of my pages in the library I have a quick link to search the catalog. I'm going to type in The Sun Also Rises. Some of you might also want to do a search for your author, because it will have a book about many of the books that author has written, and it should have a chapter or possibly 2 on the one that you read. Now when I scroll through my results, the first one that is listed is the actual book, The Sun Also Rises. I can tell it is that because it's in the fiction section under Hemingway. That's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for are results that are in the 800s. Those are criticisms, books written about books. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and I can see right here at 813 I have a book on criticisms from The Sun Also Rises. I have another one here, Ernest Hemingway's The Sun Also Rises. So these books are just similar to that article that we just saw, except you get the full text. You'll be able to check the book out. I have all kinds of readings on this book. So I have 3 different books filled with criticism on The Sun Also Rises that you can come into the library and check out. So remember, to find your criticisms, you can start at that Ralston Valley homepage, get to the library website, get to your class links, and get to the literary criticisms. From here, you will find Novels for Students, You can search that index and see if you can stop in and get it. You can find the Literature Resource Center, which is a fabulous database, and you can search the library catalog to see if we have a book about your book. If you're still stuck, just come see me in the library and I'll see if there's any other places that maybe we can find some criticism for you.